It is so difficult to maintain some semblance of normalcy for my family, for my children in particular, who deserve to be the center of attention. Children deserve to be the center of attention when you're around. And so sometimes when you're at a football game or soccer game and people are like, hey, can I get a picture? Oh my goodness, it's so nice to meet you. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you too. But I'm here as a dad for my kids in this moment.
This is We Don't Always Agree, the podcast where we thrive on hard conversations. I'm Ryan Michelle Buffet.
And I'm Sterling K. Brown.
We said I do almost 20 years ago. And two things about us, we love each other deeply and we can disagree deeply about a lot of things.
That is true, but we've been learning how to disagree healthily. And this show is our way of pulling back the curtain and sharing our evolution with you. Bird, is you ready?
Child, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Let's go, big dog. We Don't Always Agree is recorded at the Blackbird House flagship in Culver City, California. How you doing, Bird?
I'm okay, Sterling. How are you?
I'm doing quite all right. What are we talking about today, girl?
The fact that we didn't wake up like this.
We didn't.
We did not.
What was the red carpet realities that the people have to deal with in this industry?
The red carpet realities. And, oftentimes you look on social media. And I know people will try to make it seem like, oh, the hair and makeup team, they kind of tag and stuff. But I definitely think that it lends itself to a sense of naturally, I'm beautiful. I just add to it.
Right.
And that may be the case for some people, but that's
definitely the case for you.
Well, you're very sweet.
It's the truth.
But we're also talking about what undergirds all of that,
beautiful.
quote unquote, you're sweet, natural, quote unquote, natural beauty. The Pelotons and the workouts and the amount of water and the dermatologist. And so we just kind of wanted to walk through and unpack a lot of the things and people that we employ that help us, that are the scaffolding that we build.
Let's unpack.
Our red carpet realities around. All right, let's unpack it.
What's our first query up in this piece today?
Well, for you specifically, because I feel
Me
like
specifically. I feel honored.
What's happened?
I'm the only other person to ask questions.
That is true. There's no one else. It's just us. How it feels to me on the very, not outside looking in, but I'm very obviously close to the situation, but it does feel like this kind of happened really fast. Not the career, because you've been building the career, but it was like boom and boom. Like it was a day and night. Right? Overnight type of situation, once you did OJ and once the industry began to buzz and it was a different way that people related to us at parties. And then of course the Emmy happened. And
was it really big? Like, I'm curious from your perspective.
You don't know, you noticed.
I did too, but I'm wondering, people treat you differently.
They only treat me differently vis-a-vis you. When they know,
that's so.
Yeah, there was one person in particular though who never spoke to me and was always very, very unkind to me. And then
was she a Black woman in Hollywood?
I will not say.
Copy that.
And this person,
look, I appreciate that solidarity. That's
good had typically never acknowledged my presence. And one time I walked into a space where this person was, and the person waved. And without irony, I looked behind me.
You waving it?
Because I knew, I just was like, oh, let me get out of the way so this person can see. Because I had been so poorly treated. So yes. But it was clear that they were speaking to me and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But we went to a Fox party once and it was, the people were just buzzing about the show and we had gone to that same Fox lot party and we had run into somebody from our old agency and his date at the time.
Oh,
and they were very, shady, not shady with us, but kind of shady with us, very Hollywood with us. And then the next time we went was when people had started to get the screeners and stuff for OJ and people were buzzing about you. And then it was a very different reception in that room. And I noticed it.
Really?
So I just wanted to know,
Really?
what was it like for you? What were the challenging parts of it for you? This kind of concept of celebrity or how much you consider yourself a celebrity.
There's good and bad. I want to preface this by saying that if I have any sort of complaints or things, I understand that they are champagne problems or what we call
very much so
white people problems to a certain extent. And so first white people problem is sort of creating boundaries creating boundaries for myself and for my family. Because
Narrator, other people create boundaries other than white.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it feels like, it's 2024 now, but back in the day, it was like boundaries. Anyway,
Fair.
Boundaries are important.
Yes.
For everybody. Like, no cap. It is so difficult to maintain some semblance of normalcy for my family, for my children in particular, who deserve to be the center of attention. Children deserve to be the center of attention when you're around. And so sometimes when you're at a football game or soccer game and people are like, hey, can I get a picture? Oh my goodness, it's so nice to meet you. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you too. But I'm here as a dad for my kids in this moment, right? Because the other part of it is, before you enter into this business, you and I both, we have been fans forever. And we know what it's like to meet people whose work we appreciate, whose artistry we admire. And we also know what it's like to get the gas face from those people.
Yep.
Did you have to be so stank? Like, did you have to not acknowledge my presence at all? Right? So there's this balance that you're like, listen, I acknowledge you, I see you, and I appreciate the love, but I also have to get back to my wife or my kids. And we just had to decide on a no picture rule. We'd gone to church. It was just me and Andrew. You weren't even there. And This Is Us had just come out. And a lot of people were asking for pictures and they really appreciated what we were doing with the show. I was like, sure, no problem. And I asked Andrew to hold my jacket. And he was a young boy at the time. He's still a young boy, he's 12, but he was 5, 6, right?
Okay.
I gave him my jacket to hold. Andrew, in a very Caucasian way, threw my jacket down on the ground and stomped on it. And I was like, that's some white shit. I didn't even know how to tolerate that. But I was at church and I was like, flabbergasted. I was like, clutch my pearls. I said, yeah, son, did I do something? Or we got a problem we got to talk about? And he goes, because we're about to go to brunch, probably to meet you. And he goes, well, you stopped your plans with me to accommodate everybody else. So clearly they must be more important than I am. And I was like, whoa, never again. Never again.
Andrew's a bit of a truth teller.
And the boy is a soothsayer. And so we were coming off a plane. And somebody's like, I didn't want to bother you on the plane. And there's the whole family. But I just wanted to get an opportunity to tell you how much I appreciated your work. I said, thank you. Like, is it okay if I get a picture? And I said, you know what? I don't take pictures when I'm with my family, but I do appreciate the love because I want you to be seen. And she said, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Andrew was watching this whole interaction and he goes, you remember? I said, yeah, big dog, I remember. And he felt seen, So we keep that up now. And one time we're in Santa Monica at the mall there. People are coming up. I said, no pictures and whatnot, but nice to meet you, etc. And then a black couple came up. Well, there was a white couple before, then a black couple came up. He's like, yo, brother, this Randall is like, thank you for representing Black excellence and da-da-da. I was like, thank you, bro. So cool, appreciate it. He's like, can I get a picture? And I was like, you know what, man, I'm with my son right now. Don't get pictures when I'm with my son. He's like, understand, brother, appreciate that, da-da-da. He was with his family and they were all smiling. And then Andrew comes up to me and he goes, Dad, you can give the Black people a picture. I said, big dog, I appreciate where you're coming from. With that love. But if the white people see Daddy get the Black people a picture and then they don't get one themselves, I said, let's just keep it carte blanche across the board. He's like, okay, that's cool. So those boundaries have been
Meanwhile, their youngest doesn't have boundaries.
No. He will love for his picture to be taken by anyone. He talks about how he has his own YouTube page. He does not have a YouTube page.
He does not have a YouTube channel.
We just put him on Instagram from time to time. He loves going viral.
He thinks he goes viral. Sometimes he does, but most of the time he doesn't.
Where Andrew is like, I want to move in the shadows.
Yes.
Right?
He keeps telling us that he wants to make a lot of money doing something that no one's ever heard of so that he can be rich without ever being famous.
Well, so here's the flip then, because I think I appreciate anonymity, or I think I have a greater appreciation for it since it's been taken away to an extent. But I think you sort of like talked about how you would love like a certain level of fame and spotlight of like the whole old Hollywood system that gives you sort of access, that fame is a conduit to access.
So I don't know how many people know. And I mean, I haven't, this is all kind of like hearsay for me. So I'm sure there's someone going to be in comments like, actually, the Hollywood system was no. But from my understanding, my limited understanding of what the Hollywood system was, back in the day, MG, you know, these studios are actually named after people. MGM, like Mr. Goldwyn was a person, Mr. Mayor was a person. These were people,
Mr.
right?
Metro.
I don't know that Metro was a person. I'm gonna draw the line at Metro.
Copy that.
Don't think he was a person. But all of these studios were, you know, run by people that, you know, and so there was an idea that they would tap into what was needed in the zeitgeist and then create that person. And or if one studio had a Shirley Temple, they were like, let's find our Shirley Temple, which is how we got Judy Garland. They had Shirley Temple, and, you know, I imagine some, you know, get me to Shirley Temple or don't come back. Where's my roast beef sandwich, right? Like, I imagine it went something like that. And so
that was a lot.
And sometimes I think that the Hollywood system was a lot, while it wasn't equitable, sometimes I look back because I'm like, we still have to do all of those things. We still have to, now we as the artists, we're charged with tapping into the zeitgeist. And
what do you mean with your own social media?
Well, social media or just like, you know, there's always this push-pull, right? Between like, okay, be what they want. And there's always a story about someone being like, I was just myself and it was enough.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one story. But then there's always a story of somebody like a Madonna who was like, I wanted to be famous and I did what I needed to do. Like I pushed envelopes and I understood pop culture in a way that allowed me to move through it and give people what they wanted, right?
Is being famous something important to you?
I don't necessarily know that it's fame so much as what fame gives you. Like Meryl Streep is famous, obviously, but it allows her.
I love Meryl Streep.
We're going to talk about Meryl Streep a lot in this podcast because that is the. But it's also it gives access to being able to have all of these opportunities, right? That's always what the push pull is because it's like you have to have enough fame for someone to say yes because they know you'll put butts in the seats.
Yeah. Understood.
And that old Hollywood system, I feel like they took on some of the cost. They took on some of the they gate kept the best of everything. And then they gave it to the people that were in that Hollywood system. Whereas now you kind of have to sort of fend for yourself in terms of, you know, we've both found Dr. Wu because of our skin issues. And, you know, but that in and of itself is like.
We had acne.
We had acne.
Still do. It happens from time to time. There are flare-ups.
And we have to, you know, be responsible for that. Whereas I kind of feel sometimes it would have been nice if all of the responsibility for everything was not on our shoulders and someone else could say, oh, this is where you find the best dermatologists and this is where you find the best.
It's kind of like having a pod deal, but just for like you as an actor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. And they fund you money and they give you access to the best people so that you can actually get this help that you need, you know. And now it's like we are so responsible because we have to be our own social media people. We have to be our own, like, I was, the interesting thing is because you go to all these places and you're doing all these things.
What places?
The red carpet, right? The red carpet appearances.
Yes.
But they don't want to dress me. I have a really tough time because when it's like, it's time. I mean, there have been times when I'm like, I just won't go because I've gone through, you know, I've had stylists, I've had people, and it's always been this fight of like, where are we going to find dresses and who's going to dress me? And we hope that we find a dress because we're scrambling. And a lot of times it's, well, you don't have enough social media clout for people to want to dress you.
Sure.
And it's like, that's fine, but I still gotta go.
Tell them the fight over when folks said they wanted me to take solo pictures on the carpet.
That wasn't a fight.
Tell people the fight.
It wasn't a fight. No, it was like this whole thing where your people were like, well, you know, in order for Sterling to get coverage on the menswear that we're trying to push for him, he needs these individual fake photos. And if you're next to him, and I was like, you don't ever have to worry about me taking not nair in a photo with that motherfucker ever again. And all y'all. It's kind of how that went. So I don't think it was an argument. I just was like, oh, I don't never need to go. I'll stay in the car. Matter of fact, I'll see you when you get home. And they were like, that's not what we're saying. I was like, that's exactly what you're saying.
I said, right, we can do like couple shots too. I just have to do like solo shots as well. And like, what, they just want you to do shots? I can't even talk now. They just want you to do shots with your co-stars? You're going to have some white woman on your arm.
I did not say that. Now you are showing out. Now you are showing out. I never said that. I never, ever said that. What I said was,
What did you say?
I said what I said.
Tell me what you said.
I said was.
What did you say?
I said, I think y'all are over. I felt like they were overstepping a boundary. So because we got to go to this thing together. And for them to be like, can you just, I mean, it was like out of the movies where they were like, no, you stand in the corner. And I was like, nobody puts baby in a corner. So if you are anything like me, finding the perfect, and I mean perfect holiday gift can be a bit of a challenge. But I found the secret weapon, Uncommon Goods.
Thank God.
They have an amazing selection of gifts that are truly out of the ordinary.
She's absolutely right. I love them. They have the most unique finds. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. I just got this gorgeous handmade whiskey decanter set for a friend, and they couldn't believe it was handcrafted by a small business here in the U.S.
Which is really important to us, right?
It is.
You can get things like a beautiful personalized family puzzle that everyone can enjoy together for family time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's meaningful, and it's something you're not going to find at any big box store. And when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses.
Yes, you are. And they give back. With every purchase, Uncommon Goods donates $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. That's over $3 million donated so far.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
So if you're looking for something unique this season, check them out. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/WDAA. That's uncommongoods.com/WDAA for 15% off. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary. This holiday season, let's talk about gifting Cozy Earth. When it comes to those special gifts that bring luxury right into your home, into the homes of your friends and loved ones, Cozy Earth is my top pick. Their bamboo sheet set is honestly the ultimate gift. Imagine giving someone the comfort of a great night's sleep, night after night after night. Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set turns a bed into a serene escape. It's one of those gifts that feels like an everyday indulgence or like a spa treatment. They also have a great selection of cozy loungewear, perfect for unwinding at home or, and this is very important, staying comfortable while traveling. It's designed to feel luxurious, but it's also something you'll reach for every day. And let's not forget their women's stretch knit long sleeve bamboo pajama set. It's perfect for those relaxing holiday mornings or the not so relaxing holiday mornings or those cozy nights in, keeping you comfortable and stylish all season. And their quality it's just top notch. Cozy Earth sheet and loungewear are incredibly breathable, keeping you cool through the night, and they're built to last with a 10-year guarantee. So visit cozyearth.com/WDAA and use my exclusive 40% off code WDAA to give the gift of luxury this holiday season. One last thing. If you get a post-purchase survey, make sure to mention that you heard about Cozy Earth from this podcast. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth.
So this is interesting. This is the push-pull of this whole fame thing, right? Because it's like you knew there's opportunity in being on the carpet. I think way more than I do, even still to this day. Like if I can bypass a carpet in a heartbeat, I'll be like,
oh, for sure.
I ain't got to put on no makeup. I ain't got to get no clothes. Cool, I'm good. And Ryan's like, no, can I get on the carpet? Like, do we get to go to this? Like you'll send me things that I've been invited to that I've like passed or hoping to pass on. And you're like, So I think that we should consider.
The only thing I've done that with is the gold party. That's the only thing that I was like, I don't care, but come by
The
hook or
gold
crook.
party, for
Can we
those
talk
who
about
do
it?
not
No,
know.
we shouldn't talk about that. Is it a secret?
Yeah, we can.
It
No.
might be a secret.
It's
I
not
don't get in
secret. It was
trouble
in Hollywood.
with Giselle. I want Giselle to be Giselle. Don't be
Y'all know
mad
what
at
a
me,
gold party is?
Giselle.
Gold Party is the annual post-Oscars party thrown by Sean Carter and Beyonce.
Giselle knows Carter.
Yes.
Sorry.
So like
First up her name. Sorry.
we would get invited to this party, and inevitably I was on This Is Us at the time. I would have to be at work at 6 a.m. the next day. I'm like, guys, you're killing me. I'm trying to go to this gold party. I'm trying to kick it with Jigga Man. And so like
Jigga Man.
I wouldn't go because I was like, I got to go to sleep. And Ryan's like, well, can I still go? And I was like, yeah, I don't care if you go, but like she had to find out.
I sacrificed a baby goat to go to this party. I just want y'all to realize.
Sometimes they'll rescind the thing if we're not together.
That's another. So people, just so y'all know, sometimes they'll invite Sterling +1, and if he doesn't go, then I don't get to go. If something happens and he says yes, and we're all prepared to go, and he can't go, they're like, well, you can't go either.
The Carter family did not do that to my wife.
They did not.
And so, like, let me tell you how hard she was into this party. Well, I'm sitting there watching the Oscars before I go to. She's like, all right, I got to go take a nap. She, like, leaves watching the Oscars with me, took her ass to bed so she could wake up, like, at 11 and be like, all right, I'm going out. And I'm, like, asleep. I was like, I'll see you later. She came home, like, at 4 in the morning. I, like, woke up. I was like, how was it? She's like, Sterling, it was the greatest night of my life.
It really was. The first time I went, and we're dancing, and everybody's, at one point, Cynthia Erivo hit a split and was bouncing in the split, and Jay-Z was like, oh! And I was like, oh! And then I turn around and I'm screaming, and the person next to me was going, oh! And it was Adele. And I was like, ah! And she's like, ah! And we're screaming in each other's face, and we're like, this is the best party ever!
So I don't want to make it sound like being famous is so hard.
It was the best night of my life, outside of having my children. So that's what success means to me. I'm wondering, what does success mean to you? Success means to me being at a party with Adele in my face screaming.
Like here's the thing, like I like that stuff. I do. You love, it's kind of.
You know what? Okay, in all honesty, it was more like you said earlier, we're fans, right? And it's when you get the opportunity to
be in the company of people that
you really, 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 really respect. I mean, I don't know that I would have been that excited if it were. I was excited because it was Adele. I love Adele. Who doesn't love Adele? Who doesn't love Adele? Right? Like everybody loves Adele. You know, and you get to meet and you know, Beyonce has that. She the way that she sounds is the way that she sounds. She got that deep voice.
We
you know, she come from the South, and she got that.
We were at the party together one time. This was a couple years later. And I said, yo, thank you for the invitation to the party. She said, this is my husband's party.
She said, this is not mine. This is not mine. This is my husband's party. and I'm like in the back, I'm like, she sounds just like that. And it was, Anyway, success to me is being able to whoop the behinds of all of my mortal enemies.
Success for me,
I could do that. I feel successful.
Is having a level of freedom to pursue what you want to artistically and being able to provide for your family without having to sweat it, right? I think it shifted ever so slightly, because before, success was being a working actor, right? Was being able to move from job to job and pay your bills by doing that. And that's still sort of a definition of success for me. But freedom to not have to wait for people to invite you to the table, but people just saying like, hey, we'll come to you. What is it that you want to do? Like, what kind of roles do you want to play? Like, that sort of thing is amazing. I think about 3,000, 3 Stacks has a level of freedom where he's like, you know what? I want to play the flute. Like, F these rhymes. Like, I'm famous now.
Just so y'all know, Sterling is obsessed with Andre 3000 playing this flute. He is like obsessed with this flute. You talk about it all the time.
You know what else? It's funky. The flute album is funky.
You see?
It's really weird. It's listen, if you need to go to the spa, it's good spa music. And if there's a couple of tracks in particular, if you have an ayahuasca experience, I was like, I know this track was born out of somebody taking the root. And he most definitely did. But I'm saying there is
Put that on,
too
right?
often, like we always talk about how Black films or things have to have a certain level of success because if they don't succeed,
Right.
we won't get to do them again. But like that success is like where you get to do it, you get to fail and be like, well, he has potential. Let's do it again. Right? Because you seem to see that sort of thing happen with other folks, but it doesn't necessarily happen with us. I would love to see and experience that level of success.
The level of success where you get to have artistic freedom to fail,
Yeah.
knowing that it's not
The end.
the end of you, the end of what you can be and bring to the table. And the stress that it is to be like, it's, you can sometimes see it with actors where it's like, it feels like every line is like, I'm going to show you that I went to Juilliard. Every line that I
Right.
and it's like, okay, girl, again, selling tampons. Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, I only am going to get this one, I'm not throwing away my shot.
Right.
Like, and I get
so
that
you have to show all of your skills with
show,
every job because otherwise you may not have another job
it's
to
like
show your
she's
skills.
in the background dancing. One time, I told you about the time I did background work the one time.
Yes. And how much you enjoyed it.
Oh, thrilled. I won't even get into why I ended up on this but it was Johnson Family Vacation.
Yes.
We get there, and what was funny, and the reason why I bring this up was because everyone was jockeying to be in front of Steve Harvey, because he was kind of like there at one point in this area where we were all kind of like looking, and there's a lot of waiting around. One guy starts doing his sort of stand-up routine. Another girl,
man.
I shit you not. He's like, and he kind of was like, told a little joke and some people laugh, and you can see, and I was like, Nero, we can see you looking out I could see the creep of like, this could be it. I said, because I have the same thing. This could be it.
Right.
This could be my shot. And you can see the face, like you could see, I'm going to be fake. I'm going to be the next Eddie Murphy. It was like broadcast across, and he was like, and then he told another joke. And then he was like doing this whole stand-up where he's doing his, his tight 10 in front of everybody and people. And and he keeps looking to see if Steve is watching and looking. And there's girls, and I was like, you show up in pasties, they're in dental floss. Like, they will out-ho you no matter what you do. So I was like, I'm not going to try. I failed that test. So I'm in a little jumpsuit, with a little knockoff Juicy Couture. They're in like a bikini. And I was like, yeah, you win, girl. You win. Because I ain't going to do whatever it is you going to do in that, girl. And then they were like, we need people to be in the back. I was like, I'll do it. Because I don't want anybody to see me. And I'm looking at the camera and I'm hiding behind pieces of hair and leaves. And
you're actively trying not to be seen.
But I say all that to say that you could tell that there were people. There was another girl who starts humming, she's like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
And Steve is in the earshot?
Like there's somebody like tap dancing, another person's doing karate, and I'm watching this go down, and I'm like, I am in a fucking crazy house.
But the thing is, too, you probably also had a level of understanding that, like, this is not how people get put on. But people think that it's how
it's not how you get put on, but there's always that story, right? Wasn't there the story of Charlize Theron who was like at the bank, and it's probably usually beautiful white women who get put on that way. Like, I'm sure Charlize Theron had been a background artist and had her pasties on, she'd still be Charlize Theron.
At this point in time, I want to just you always feel we have this argument where I'll say, like, Bird, you don't have to take every job. And you'll say, well, you're in a very privileged position to do that. So talk a little bit about that real quick.
Well,
because in my mind, I think that our resources are our resources. And if we are financially free enough to not have to take every job, then doesn't that give you space to wait on the things that you really want to pursue?
In some way, yes. But in another way, no. Because if I say no enough, no one's going to call. Because I'm still in a position where money, yes, there's the money, the financial aspect, but I have not gotten to the level of quote unquote fame or success where the phone is going to ring regardless, because they know without a shadow of a doubt I'm going to put butts in the seats.
Interesting.
And I know this because there have been times when I've had a little insight onto casting choices, and I kid you not, there have been times when they're like, well, we wanted Oprah for this. You wanted to call Oprah for the role You wanted to call Oprah for the role I just auditioned for.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we thought it would be a good casting choice. To play the daughter? Like, they're like, well, like, there's such a weird thing in this industry where people, especially when it comes to misogynoir, right? Which the intersection of being Black and female.
Gotcha.
Right?
I thought you was just being fancy. No,
I am fancy.
Noir is the Black part.
Noir, that's, yes, because
Understood.
noir means...
Misogynoir.
Yes,
Yeah.
misogynegro. Anyway, the point is that you still have the privilege of being a man.
I do.
So
I am.
whereas Black women in this industry have a very specific road to walk, you as a Black man have a specific road to walk, but you do have privilege as a man.
True that.
So that's where we kind of like, I think, sometimes butt heads.
Yeah.
And that's where we disagree.
We do disagree on that. We do agree on the fact that there's a level of work and discipline in order to maintain these things. We don't wake up. We do not wake up like this. Even you're pretty close, but we don't wake up like this.
No, we don't wake up.
And we also agree that there's a certain level of intrusion that you have to deal with, but you try to do it with grace because you understand you wouldn't be where you are without fandom, right? But you
that's a really good point.
Reserve the right to be a husband and a father, a wife and a mother also, in terms of not just your life is for you and for other people, but it's got to be for you first.
I definitely think so, and I also, just to sort of tie a nice little bow on it and wrap things up, I think sometimes when you are Black, we as Black people have this idea or this thing in our community. We have play cousins.
Yeah.
Right, and we as Black people feel a deep level of kinship with Black people that we don't even know.
Sure. Yeah.
And when it comes to the people that we see on screen, we feel deeply emotionally and financially invested in them because they're, we like, you got to go.
I felt it from both sides.
You got to go see Color Purple. I was like, no, there won't be no Color Purple, even though we've had 3 Color Purples. But you know what I'm saying? You got to no, but we know, like, if we don't go see this, if we don't go support this person. And so we feel very invested. So it is and we are a lot of times related to people. Like I've had people come up to me, I'm your cousin. Really? And sometimes they were, and sometimes they weren't, but it's like, oh, I'm your play cousin's for real cousin. Like, we just have levels of kinship in our culture. And so I think that that's also something that we try to navigate, which is the idea. And you too, having played Randall, which is a role that I think people are so in love with that man. And he's it's not, it's not like you played somebody that people are just so... He just touched so many people that I feel like when people see you, they see Randall. I mean, I've seen people look at you, and then people don't do that with Chris Darden. There ain't nobody looking at you be like, Chris. But they look at you. Some people are like, I ain't playing Chris Darden. I ain't playing Chris Darden. Hey. But with Randall, like, people will look at you, and it's like, Randall.
People usually just want to hug. Like, if they know you,
they'll hug you, they cry.
They just really want to hug.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, listen. That's a nice little bow on that one.
I think that's a good bow. Okay, so what did we agree on? The level of discipline that it takes? I know, but I wanted to reiterate. Sometimes you have to reiterate when you're tying a bow because you double bow.
Discipline and also sort of like navigating your own personal space and boundaries with regards to family.
Right. I don't have personal space and boundaries, though.
She doesn't. We'll get back to that a little bit later.
Yes, because when we talk about this is why we're hot.
This is why we're hot.
The segment we've come to know and love.
After this.
We are back. We just had some 4-minute facials to just keep it fresh,
You got to keep it tight. Absolutely.
Some fillers, some Botox, a facial. Now we're ready.
You talks?
Do you talks?
Never.
I will. You know what? You want me to be perfectly honest with you?
Go ahead.
I used to get the talks under.
That's
right. Yeah.
Right. I used to sweat.
I still sweat.
Let's
be very clear.
But like, if you do the tox under your arms, it can like neutralize the sweat glands and whatnot,
like it freezes them up or something.
Doing the thing. And I was like, I remember seeing, because Rob would always have like, it'd be shiny.
You could see it.
Glistening.
It wasn't,
And I remember one time she like raised her hand like she was sure. And I was like, Rob, you seem so confident. Like,
see?
What happened? It's the tox.
This is why I don't tell him anything.
Okay, look. talk about what we're about to do with this. This is why I'm hot.
We might agree. We might disagree. I can't stand you. I really, truly can't stand you most of the time.
Finish.
Anyway,
we don't have to agree.
This is where bows might be thrown. We get this random topic. We got 2 minutes, and we can see why
I'm right. See who wins this. Here's a topic for you right now. Some say there is only one star in every relationship. I'm going to tell you who I heard that from in just a second. Who do you think is the star in our relationship? Because this is what you said once upon a time. You know, Sterling, there can only be one star in a relationship.
I was probably 17 years old.
No. We were together. I said, Brian, who's the star in our relationship? And you go, well, you are, Sterling. And I said, well, why am I the star?
Who talks like that, Sterling?
Why am I the star?
Who talks like that?
Because you go. I said, why am I the star? You go, well, because everybody loves Sterling.
Why do you make me sound like your mother when you do your impersonation?
Because that's
why is it Arlene Brown?
Question.
You need to unpack that.
Do you still agree?
Unpack that.
Do you still agree with this statement that you made?
I don't necessarily know that I agree with that statement, but you're definitely the star in this relationship.
And why do you wait? First of all, unpack. Do you not agree that there can only be one? You now understand.
I think that there are some relationships that are much more with people who are more normal and sane.
Don't demur
and
now.
Those normal and sane relationships probably have a different way of balancing things. But for us, yes, there's a star in this relationship.
Why?
It's you.
Why? Why do you, honestly, why?
Because you're
you
bossy.
No, stop.
You are bossy.
You stop.
Sterling, you're bossy.
I'm here right now because you wanted to do this podcast. I'm here right now. You said, Sterling,
because we were on strike.
I need you to do this podcast.
Yes, and we were on strike.
Where are we at right now?
And you said, ain't got nothing else to do. Fine, bird. Fine. Can we get it done before the strike? And then you started, and then I heard you wonder, I hope the strike is over soon. Hope the strike. Oh, yeah, we got another podcast meeting. When is this strike going to be over?
You've had this thought about me since before any sort of fame on a national level has transpired. Why have you always said this?
Because you're always boss.
Ryan, this has another. So I'm the boss because I'm the star because I'm bossy.
I think it's because you're an Aries. I think Aries. I do. I think it's because you're an Aries.
You're a Leo.
I know.
Do you guys know who's labeled more crazy? It's Leo.
I didn't say crazy. I fully own. But you're
the
bossy.
The bossy people are what? The Ram's supposed to be bossy.
You're bossy. You're very, very bossy.
What does that have to do with being the star? Honestly.
Because
I don't think you meant it in that particular way. You're trying
to
pivot.
At a certain point, because it's...
I want to point out
you want to leave when
it's not our
time
podcast.
to leave. You
That's somebody else's podcast.
You want to go with... Like, you... I believe in my heart of hearts that you set a lot of parameters in this relationship because you have... Things have to be...
Oh, my God.
Yes, things have to be done. Yes, and because things have to be done the way you
Where
want them to be done.
Where are you getting the crack rock?
Sterling.
Are you kidding me? You tell me to do everything.
I don't tell you to do anything. Sterling, I had to send you 5 articles to get you to take your shoes off when you came in the house. 5. About germs and microbes. Because you were like, I ain't doing that.
Do I take
How many? After 5 articles begging. And like the only way I can get you to do what I want you to do is when I cry.
Do I rule with an iron fist? Is that what you're telling folks right now?
You rule with it.
Whenever Sterling just said something, I said, yes, sir. What?
I mean...
Is that how it is? Tell him about Sheila. Tell him what it's like. Feel like you're going to the bathroom.
Sterling!
What is it? No, because you're painting this picture that like I push things.
You do. You don't have to push anything.
God.
I can't wait for you to talk to your children about it. I can't wait for you to talk to your children about it. You're very bossy and you get
and that's
very
why I'm the star of this relationship.
You're very
I'm bossy.
Yes. Yes.
You know what? Hey, thank you for coming to another episode. We don't always agree because definitely this woman, she is far and away the boss of this relationship.
At all.
And the idea that there can only be one star comes from someone who deeply wants to be famous.
Just trying to survive. I don't deeply want to be famous, Sterling. I just want to be able to have, I want to do shows and listen, I was watching Boss Baby the other day with my son.
Baby.
Boss Baby is a great show.
It's one of the few shows that he watches where I'm like, Oh, you don't have to turn this off. It's Boss Baby.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a villain every season.
Yeah.
There's a villain, and one of the men is a villain because he's a cat man and he wants the kittens to take over the world for the cuteness and all the love.
Mm-hmm,
It is, I mean, it's the best. And I find myself praying in the kitchen, Lord, if I could just be on a show that has the character development of Boss Baby. If Lord, because Mr. McKittens, I mean, his character development is just really genius. It's just off the chart.
Well, let's make that a
So,
reality.
Lord, if I could
stand and agree.
be a Mr. McKittens, I sure would be grateful. And that
when you
is
get
why
Mr. McKittens too, you'd be like, they gave me this damn Mr. McKittens.
No, I
believe
wouldn't. Because Mr. McKittens is the bomb. Like some character development. Give me something. You know how many times I get lines and I have to say stuff and I'm like, it don't make no sense. It doesn't have to make sense.
Gang, thank you for joining us for another episode of We Don't Always Agree. I clearly won that one because you understand that there can be two stars. Number one, so you pivoted from that point. And the idea that I'm the boss is
you
the
are the
craziest thing. And it's a pivot too.
You're
Wasn't
the
even the
boss.
question.
Who's the boss?
Let's roll the
You're the boss.
credits. Play the song. Love you.
It's okay, boss.
Love you. It was a great time.
I love you too, boss.
All right. Oh, squeeze.
You were just mad because it hits too close to home.
I could walk with you for 1,000,000 miles and my feet would not get tired. Where you go, I'll go.